So welcome to another video from theplayersaid.com. My name's Alexander.
And I'm Grant.
And we're here with Russ, and we're here with Cullen at Buckeye Game Fest, and we just finished a 5-player-ish game of Crisis 1914, and we're laughing because this started as a 5-player game with Herman Luttman. It was late, he had to bow out, so I two-handed with the Russians.
I'm going to say he's a little bit of a wuss. I'm just going to be honest.
Before we jump in, I wanted to give a big shout out to Mallory and Bridget, Russ's kids. Hopefully you appreciate us. We set this camera up for you guys so we can get your dad on camera and embarrass him. So
and this video will be up in perpetuity.
Yes,
forever.
You can watch this forever and ever and ever of your dad being a nerd on TV.
And I greatly appreciate it.
So, Crisis 1914 is more of a Euro-style game, not really a war game in that sense, and it's about this Guns of August crisis, that real escalation towards mobilization and the kickoff of World War I. So it's about tableau building, trying to get brinksmanship on this score track to convert those to prestige points, and you want to be the person who has the most prestige that didn't cause World War I. So it's really neat. It's designed by Maurice Suckling, but it's more of a Euro-style game than some of the other war games you might see on his channel.
This is a game that reminds me of games like Versailles 1919.
Yeah.
Not in the same style, but it's like a historical themed board game.
This is about the diplomacy and the actions going on that cause a war or have effects on those.
Without real diplomacy in the game. We're not negotiating.
Whereas other games like Versailles has table talk. There's table talk a little bit, but not a ton in reality. So
it's more goading than anything.
And it worked.
Yeah, it worked.
I've played this kind of 5 or 6 times now. You played it
This is my second time,
but you guys, this was your first time playing.
Yes.
So we wanted to kind of just sit down, get your thoughts, and kind of pick your brains about what you thought about this particular game.
I enjoyed it, but I found it to be confusing. The rule set was. I am so glad I was here with these guys and they could do a teach, because I'm a rules guy, and
you are, yes,
and I could not get my head around it. So but what was really cool is it does give the feeling of tension. I had a card, and it was the only card in my hand, so it meant the war was going to happen. It was going to be my fault, all because Grant had goaded me into being aggressive. So yes, there is that intimidation factor.
It worked. It worked.
But so I was drawing blind and building my tableau, and I do like tableau builders in Euro games. So I was good with that. But the tension was there. I was sweating bullets.
Yeah.
The cards are neat because they're kind of constructed with colors, so each color does a different thing. Some colors let you put out extra cards, other colors let you draw extra cards, and then there's some special events, like you were saying about the wars, that can trigger the end of the game. From a history standpoint, it's got a lot of neat, like, minutia of these people, a lot of flavor, and
pictures.
Yeah, a lot of like flavor text. If you're sitting there and it's not your turn, you're like, oh, who is this guy? You know, that was kind of neat too. So, and then of course, like these guys were saying, you're really pushing it. It's kind of like, hit me, like, go another one. You flip one over. It's like blackjack, really. Yeah. Push your luck, and if you bust, you could end up being the loser, and be doing really well up to the point where you pop the whole thing.
And with the track being as big as it is, with 32 spaces, what that means is there's a lot of room for minutia, and I think that's what I really like about the game is the brinksmanship between one space and the next space, and the tension values that those might have on top of the score values and where that might place you is palpable. Like, the choice to go one additional space versus
to get that extra point, but not incur more tension.
And the long-term effect of next turn, what that looks like, there's so much there to just that, and that's just one little aspect of the game. On top of that, what fuels that movement of one space? Well, it's card play. Okay, well, which of my cards are doing that? Do I want to spend that card doing that, or do I use it for this? Or like, I really need the effect of this, but it'll pump me up a whole bunch on this track that I don't want, but I desperately need the effect to do something else with the tension. Like, there's lots of interplay that's really, really fun.
And I didn't ever want to lose the initiative because I was like banking on that one point
Yeah.
at a time.
Oh, that's powerful,
to
yeah.
go up.
Interesting.
And plus to have the lead play is good, but it's also bad because everybody else already knows what you've done.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
double-edged sword. But that's a cool trade-off,
And the
right?
price of losing the initiative is more. It's the one VP. But when you lose that initiative, you can then
the
do
bottom
the draw.
It's the
of
deliberate.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can deliberate and draw 3 new cards.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, that's so powerful because if you don't have cards, you can't do anything.
You're,
you're
you're
flipping
at the
blind.
mercy of
Yep.
chaos.
Yep.
Which I love, because it's flipping cards off a deck. But historically, what does that mean? You're the ambassador, you're the diplomat, and all of the stuff is happening around you, and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
That
And
is exactly what I love too.
what that is in reality versus what the game is doing. I love that mindset of like that's what's going on in the
Yeah.
game. We play a lot of war games and this guy's fighting, right?
Yeah.
And this is that you get that real human story of like this person is desperately trying to like pull
Yeah.
the strings and hold it together, and there are times you just lose that, and that's awesome.
I think one of my favorite things about this game is I have an analogy. It's like if you're going through a slow motion car crash.
Oh yeah, yes.
You can see it coming. You can see every movement that has been protracted and drawn out, and you're just waiting for the final thump. And it's like, I can see what's happening with him, and I can see my own tension, and I'm like, I'm on the brink of getting in a big accident. And I just love that because
Yeah.
it causes you to think about, okay, what do I really need to be doing? What do I want to do? I just love that. It's like a slow motion car
And
crash.
There's so
and
much
that's
to it.
where I was at. I was at the mercy of drawing from the deck, which is pretty much on relying on what are my other diplomats under me doing, or
Yep.
what are the events at home, and
What are the other players doing?
I luckily I was down to one card. It was to cause the war and be the loser, the big loser, instead of the third
Slightly
place
less
loser.
losers.
Yeah, there's an area you probably can't see, but the further you go into the red, it's a risk reward. You keep pushing your luck into like you taking more attention, which will ultimately pop your country. But you've got to beat that other guy to the victory points. So it's like, how close can I get to this moving train before it hits me?
And it's kind of a press your luck style thing. You know, you're hedging your bets and you're saying, I'm going to be the guy in the lead. So
I'm
I
gonna
do a
beat this
belligerent.
guy.
Yeah, I do a belligerence action
Yeah.
because I can then double the points of that card I played, right? But you're like, man, I'm going to
I'm going to incur a tension
really
penalty,
incur a lot
right?
of tension. And then the next round, you're going to have to kind of back it down. You're
Right.
going to have to drop down a gear and not be able to go as hard. You cannot go hard 2 turns in a row unless you just have some really good cards.
can.
Or pray for the card you need
Yeah,
to
it's-
save
yeah.
you, and that was the
It's
one
not
card.
wise.
Yeah, it's just so interesting that.
It is.
So I feel like I'm ramping up, and then I'm taking a break. And then I'm ramping it up,
Yeah,
taking a break.
But it's 3 steps forward, 1 step back.
Yeah,
3
yeah,
steps
yeah.
forward. And I love the car analogy. It's not, it's like grim, but
Sure.
what the game puts you into with that tension is you get into an element of like fatalistic thinking.
Yeah.
Like the war will happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there are times where you're just like, that can either like get you laser focused to do it and like get your stuff to done. And there are times where you're like, who cares? and you're like,
Caution to the
just,
wind.
and like you, again, it's like, well, it was the egoism of like some of the leaders who were here, and like some of that stuff happened. And, like, it's
Well,
a wonderful theme.
Isn't
to
it
the
also
game.
somewhat a condition? The way you feel that way, who cares, is when you look at the VP and like you were behind and you're like, I don't really give a
Yeah.
crap.
Go for it.
You know, so
Yeah.
you probably weren't as cautious. Although you had a 1 in 5 chance of drawing that card at the end,
Yeah,
and you
which
did,
is- but like,
which is rare.
You get into people being reckless, and that
Yeah.
recklessness scares the people who are trying
Yep.
to be cautious, and the people who are being
It's a little
cautious.
scary.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, we can beat these reckless
Yeah.
guys. It's like it's
Because
a
I
great
started
dynamic.
off so cautious, and then I said, well,
Throw
Grant's
caution to the
making
wind.
fun of me, so I need to be overly aggressive twice in a row.
So would you guys say there's definitely a game here? We really like it.
Oh, I think this is a great game, but we all had the discussion. The rules are a little difficult.
Yeah.
They don't really explain well
The player aids
what
help
you're trying
a
to
lot.
do.
The
And
player
those-
aids are not included in the game.
That came
You must
on
print those
where
out
did
from
those-
BGG.
BGG. I would say download those. Make sure you have 5 copies because
Yeah.
they're very good.
Yeah.
I just feel like the rules didn't necessarily set up the game for me to understand how to play.
No,
I agree.
and the rules are a miss. Like, this is a big understatement. They're not well written. They're organized a little bit confusingly at times, but it's a case of like the rules describe things instead of stating mechanics, and then when they do state the mechanics, they're worded differently from how things are written on the board. And then they also made really interesting, that's a euphemism, choices in the UI of this game with how the
Yeah.
cubes are used. How there's a ton of dice, but you never roll them, and they're victory point markers. And there's 4 spaces for the dice, but you can score more than 24 points in a game. So like, okay. And there's just like stuff that happens, like the.
Well, if you
the
score
am-
more than 24, you just stack more white dice on top. That's what you end up doing.
and it's just like, okay. But, yeah, which, and then like they've got the names of the ambassadors, which is cool.
But it should have
Yeah.
been referring to Vienna. Or not
Or-
Vienna.
or
Austria.
Austria.
The Austria-Hungarian
But they
Empire.
refer to the Russian tension box
I know,
in
it's
Vienna
Oh,
so
that's
confusing.
instead of the Russian tension box in Austria, and they refer to a card will refer to Berchtold instead of the Austrian player
Yeah,
or Austria or Vienna, and so there's like 5 naming conventions for things, and they're never consistently used, and it's frustrating.
It makes
It
it,
is
hard to
frustrating.
play well. How many times did we have to ask? This card says the tension in Germany box in London.
Yes, it's the Germany tension box in London, and you just have to read every single word to ensure, like, okay, this is the Germany tension box. It's not the British tension box in Germany. It's not the
Yeah.
a German tension box.
multiples,
and
yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
you just there's a lot of things that you just like make sure that you're doing, but the rules do not assist you in that.
It's so
particular way.
nice that you're getting the history of it there. Like you've got the actual diplomats, but then it just kind of gets in the way whenever like just saying Germany or France would be much clearer, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have learned this and I know how it's played. Maurice also did a second teach with me as well, and you were there as well.
And that helped them
That
immensely.
helped, and I've talked with him online and in the BGG forums. There's lots of answers, so like I know how to play this, but I also know that almost everyone I meet does not know how to play this, and
Yeah.
it will make and it's like it's an enigma.
And
so I know
yes.
that I'm teaching this every time.
And that's a shame because I really feel like there's a great game here.
The game
Oh,
is
it's
very
very
good,
fun.
in spite of like some of the UI stuff. The
Yeah.
game is really good,
Yeah.
and there's a barrier to it, which is tough.
Yeah.
And it still is, despite not being a war game, it is a historical conflict played out,
100%.
played out,
Yeah.
Led up
at the
to
conference
One
table.
of the biggest.
Well, one of my favorite parts about the game is the cards and the named characters. And one time I played a card, it was like Churchill's card.
Yeah, yeah.
And it said, get out whoever it was. Do you remember who it was? Like, take that out of the deck.
Oh, that was Tyrrell.
Okay, yes.
And it got rid of Yagov.
But it's because you were like, they hate each other. And I'm like, oh, how did you? And you told me some of the history
and
there.
and
I'm like,
the- and
oh, that's
it's
so
printed
cool.
very small on some of the cards
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well. But like, yeah, there's a lot of flavor. There's a great playbook that has like no play in it, but it's got all of the card histories and stuff in it as well. that's
And I would
wonderful.
say that Maurice did a series of event card spoilers on the blog. He wrote up like 20 of these cards and
Oh,
gave
wow.
a historical background.
Wow.
If you're interested in this
back.
period,
All of it's in here.
go on
It's
the
really
blog
good.
and it's very interesting. But I love this game. I've played it twice now. I would play it again.
Mm-hmm.
I would play it again now. Very much enjoyed it. I had a good time with you guys
Absolutely
too.
fun. We were
Yeah,
laughing
yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah. It's a good time.
And you're gonna play it 5-player.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
You can play it 4, it's okay, but you want lots of players because then you get
Mess.
there's
get the
more
full-
brinksmanship, there's more
the more
tension.
chaos.
I played it 2
More
player,
chaos.
you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you guys sitting down and playing with us.
100%.
It was a
Thank
joy
you.
to
Thanks for
teach it
teaching us.
again.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully you can parlay that knowledge into more
Into
ways
more
of it.
teaching.
We're
And
gonna
then we can
try.
get more people to play this, but I realize that's a bit of a difficult
Because
ask.
it is good, but boy, it is confusing.
Yeah.
And once again, Big shout out to Russ's kids, and hopefully you will watch this 100,000 times to see
It'll
your
go
dad on
viral.
camera, and it also pays our bills. So thanks very much for tuning in. I'm Alex out of theplayers8.com.
And I'm Grant.